get out, they don't stand a chance, you know? They just come right back, and it keeps that $50,000 a year of taxpayers' money per prisoner flowing into the prison system. There was a documentary called Storyville, the house I live in, on the BBC, and it likened the US prison system right now as this money-making thing, but also a form of racial control and extermination because of the drug laws, along the same lines as Auschwitz, but done on a more subtle level. Because they go into the poor socio-economic communities to fulfill their arrest quotas, the police. They call it shooting fish in a barrel. And they put these guys in in the prison. It's mostly non-violent drug offenders. Before I was arrested, I thought, lock prisoners up and throw away the key. It's full of child rapists, Hannibal Lecter types. Society needs to be protected for them. I didn't have a clue. And I wouldn't expect the public to have a clue either, because I was in that same position. But once I got in there and saw it's mostly non-violent drug offenders, and all these people are making all this money off the backs of them, I just realised how obscene it is. I'll give you one example. 3 strikes law in California. If you're familiar with it, do 3 crimes, you get put away for 25 years to life. Now, the people who put the money up to get that introduced was the Prison Guards Union of California, who made $1 million political contribution to the governor of California because they wanted to expand their empire. So you had silly charges, people doing life. A guy stole a pizza for $8 and he's doing life in prison. The taxpayers of California were outraged at this. Why should we be paying $50,000 a year in taxpayers' money to house a guy who stole an $8 pizza? This doesn't make any sense at all. So then they tried to get it repealed in court. The people putting the money up to stop it from getting repealed was, again, the Prison Guards Union of California and one of the founders of Broadcom, the exclusive provider of telephone services to the California state prison system. Because when you call someone from prison, it's a local call, it's $10, reverse charge. I called home to the UK from prison in Arizona, £55, they charged my parents for 5 minutes. These states are spending more on prisons than they are on education. It's obscene. They're shutting the schools down and cutting back while building all these prisons. And this is what, Cameron said, we're looking to the private prisons to, reform our prisons. It's too soft here. And it's all about just introducing this model to the UK. Yeah. Okay, next. Oh, gentleman in the back.
So it seems like, obviously, your life was pretty good before you got caught, and it seems like you're alright now, you've got documentaries and books and things. So was it all worth it?
All right. I'm lucky to be alive, for starters. And there's 2 things. People say to me all the time, Shaun, you live this wild and crazy life. Is there anything about it you would change? First thing is, I'm ashamed of dealing drugs because I saw the harm it causes on the prisoners and these addicted guys in the prison killing themselves at the end of the road of drug use with hepatitis C, yellow jaundice skin, teeth rotting out. I put people on that road of drug use myself, and I was ashamed of that. If I could live my life again, I wouldn't do that. The other thing is the hurt I caused my parents and my sister. My mum had a nervous breakdown. I'm thinking, they're 5,000 miles away, getting all my party friends high. My parents are never going to find out about that. 2 months after my arrest, I was the cover story of a newspaper out of Phoenix. They had a portrait of me on the front page looking like a rave Nosferatu. It said, English Shaun's Evil Empire. It was 10 pages long. Everything I did and 10 times more were in this article. They actually portrayed me to be a cross between Tony Soprano and a vampire. But I'm thinking my parents are not going to see this. They're just gentle people. It's going to break their hearts. Call my aunt in Phoenix. Don't let my mum and dad see this. It's too late, Shaun. There's an internet version. My mum read it and she had a nervous breakdown. She was a college teacher. She went to the college and she ran up to some foreign students saying, I know you know what's going on. I know you've read the article. They didn't have a clue what she was on about. My dad had to get her from the college and she's been on and off medication to this day. Just the other week I was up in the northwest at my parents' house. I can still see the hurt and pain on their faces that I've caused them. When people say, is there anything about your life you would change? Outdoor faces, I hurt and pain, outdoor faces. But I can't, it makes me sick to my stomach and I've got to live with that for the rest of my life. They remortgaged the house for almost $100,000 to get me out of that situation. Otherwise I'd still be in prison right now. I'm just slowly paying them that back. My party friends owe me hundreds of thousands, and I never saw any of that back. I think some of them were just glad I was arrested, so they would never have to repay me. On the other side of your question, I wouldn't be here today doing this talk. My life wouldn't be going in this whole new positive direction that it's going in if I hadn't gone through everything that I've been through. So, yeah, I wouldn't do it again, but on the other side, it's helped me and set my life on this course. Yep.
Do you reckon if drugs were legalised, we may get away from people wanting to make money out of it?
A very good question. I thought about this a lot. Drugs were legal for many, many years, and then the statutory drug laws came in. Now, I've studied economics at uni. If you make something illegal, the value of it shoots right up. And that's an incentive then to produce it. So right now we've got more drugs in the history of the world at higher potencies. Everywhere's just completely flooded with drugs. All because there's an incentive for the large criminal organizations to produce these drugs. And if you look at who's capable of doing this, it's the Russian mafia, it's the Mexican mafia, these are the big producers and importers of drugs around the world. And if you made drugs legal again, if it went back to being legal, it would put too many people out of jobs right now. The prison system, the court systems would empty. The guards unions, all these guys lobby each political party to keep all of this going. Yeah. And again, the price of it falls on the taxpayers because they foot the bill to keep all these people in prison. Richard Nixon, who introduced the war on drugs, he said privately he felt that people who've got addiction problems need psychotherapy, counselling, rehabilitation. But when he increased sentences for drug offenders, his popularity went off the scale. And every politician ever since has followed that model. Chris Grayling right now is banning books from UK prisons. He's all trying to capitalise on the public. So something deep-rooted in the public psyche that feels prisoners lock them up and throw away the key, treat them as harshly as possible. These guys have cheated society, they've got nothing coming. So the politicians and the media capitalise on that to keep it all in business. But at the end of the day, it's the taxpayers paying for it. Yeah. Okay, next question.
So you said that when you first go in, anybody who's convicted of a sex offence is killed on sight.
Yeah.
Yet the same people who command the kill on sight are quite happy to rape someone to the point where he's forced to poke their eyes out.
Yeah.
Do you have any insights into how that twisted?
I did an article with The Independent about prison rape, and they put Zena's story in there. Zena said it's more than a sexual thing. The motivation to be raping people in prison is from power and control and anger at the system, anger at themselves for getting caught and all this kind of stuff. The sexual thing is just a secondary part of it. There's all kinds of levels of sexual behaviour going on in prison. Aside from rape, people I think are most familiar with the old drop the soap in the shower and that kind of cliche. But there's all kinds of stuff that's actually going on in prison sexually. And it's a strange contradiction that if a guy comes in who's raped a woman, the gang are going to kill him, but the same gang are going to rape a young, pretty boy offender who's come into prison and they're okay with that. It's just, that's the way it is in prison. They have their own code, and that's how it's been. And people ask me that, why is this? But it's just how it is, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, next question, please. At the back, please.
You said about people in prison kind of going against the system and committing crimes within the prison.
Yeah.
Did you yourself ever get involved in any of that kind of thing? And when did you realise you kind of had to put your life back